So this next one, can you see the lovely cows there, is going to be beach scents. I'm from the farthest away from the sea as you can get, but now I live, and sadly, relatively close to the sea. About 20 miles probably in that direction, roughly. Yes, south. Yeah, about that direction, east. And it's not my favourite place in the world. I don't mind visiting every now and again. But yeah, so this is about beachy scents, which have a certain sort of DNA, don't they? It's going to be a very brief, kind of easygoing one. Chilled. We all know what beachy scents are. If you're going to go to the beach, wear sun cream, probably not fragrance. But, you know, we all like them memories of the smells there. Never been to a tropical beach. I've been to a sunny beach. There's a place called Cornwall here, which is quite nice. And I've also been to a lot of rocky, miserable North Sea beaches. It's what I consider a beach, and kind of the most famous holiday place in the world at one point, Blackpool. How do you describe Blackpool? Politely. It's probably the most run-down town you'll ever go in your entire life. People are nice. Yeah, hey, you're right there. It's Blackpool here. That's how they talk, sort of. Anyway, yeah, beachy scents. This introduction is far too long. Look at the lovely cows. Oh, look at them all. They're lovely, aren't they? So first up is called Terracotta, and that's from Guerlain. I don't really need to talk about this one at all, do I? I think we all know it. It's beachy. It's a mix of tropical florals. There's I don't know exactly what's in it. White, creamy florals, maybe some gardenia, possibly some frangipani. There's a little. This one's kind of different because there's a little bit of a kind of bronze golden touch to it. I don't think there's coconut in this one, but it comes from the rich gardenia, maybe like I say frangipani or something a bit like that in it. And it's got kind of nice woods. It's what you call an easy kind of beachy one. A terracotta, the colour, of course. So it's like a kind of, well, it's not like this, it's not sunset yet, but like a kind of hazy beach at sunset. That kind of smell of that rich white floral thing. Little touch of something that could be a bit fruity in there. And it's just very calm and lovely. With that tropical style about it. Some people say it smells of sun cream. That's what them thick white florals make you think of, I think. So that's all I need to say. That's Terracotta from Guerlain. Next up is what I would call a northern beach. Windy, rainy, bracing. It's black caviar from Electimuss. Now I believe they describe this as a fougere. It does have aromatic notes in it, I think lavender, clary sage. It also has caviar listed. Now I don't get excited, it doesn't smell fishy, it smells marine. Now I like this because it's marine and salty without it being too salt, because that makes me feel sick. And it smells dark, and there's a lot of dark patchouli. I think there's oud in it as well. And it literally does smell like if you go to a place here called South Shields or Seaham. It smells like this raging Baltic, icy Arctic sea with a bracing cold storm blowing over you. It makes your hair stand on end with the chill. But there's something so kind of atmospheric and relaxing and lovely about that. Kind of been wrapped up in a big coat, just watching the waves crash and that sound and that feeling, which is pretty much every summer's day you'll get on the North Sea. But it's really weird to describe it because that's what it smells like. Wouldn't pay much attention to the notes. The fresh bracingness probably comes from the aromatic notes. The salty kind of, does it come from the caviar? It doesn't smell of caviar, but maybe it's obviously a fantasy note, but it's that damp kind of sea swept moist, dark patchouli that makes this one. It really is a very good one. And it's a different sort of beach scent, really. So if you like a kind of, if you're from Northern Europe and you like your kind of stormy, windy, awful seas, then this is the one. Now, when none of these are talking about seas in modern days that are filled with excrement, because water companies break the law and are trying to kill us to make profit. So yeah, that's Electimuss Black Caviar. Next is another one of them sandy beachy ones. Love the way you feel. Now this is Frangipani Tiari, all the white flowers in there. It's also got a bit of a kind of green feel about it to me. And the sharper fruity thing kind of cuts through it. It is what you call a traditionally beachy suntan lotion fragrance. But because this is Kilian, it's not sickly, it's not like sticky, in your face, gooey or too extreme. It's actually very nicely done and very smooth. And I think this is, it's discontinued, isn't it? But it was one of their more underrated ones. It's just beautiful, and it's one that takes you to a kind of calm beach, if you like. I've never been to France. I imagine south of France kind of beach, you know, with this kind of chilled, ooh la la, would you like a cocktail? That kind of thing, and everyone's chilled out and mellow and enjoys life and that. I'm probably going to get killed by this newly stoned road. But yeah, it's very Kilian. Very French, but again that beachy, smooth, lovely feel. I think that the stronger of the notes in this is the tiari, where it's got that little bit of a kind of sweet fruitiness, and there's a nice vetiver kind of, well, I don't know that it's listed, but there is a vetiver kind of woody, stable base there that just makes it magnificent. So that's Love the Way You Feel from Kilian. Next is a kind of another beach sunsetty one, Forbidden Bloom from Mabelle Rama. Again, this has similar florals in it, tiari, a gardenia I think. There's a nice peachy and pear feel in it, and that adds something else to it, another dimension to it. The pear's quite a darker one, same with the peach. And they add this kind of naughty, fruity richness to it. And the base is kind of very smooth. I think, is there some sort of iris possibly in this? And it gets a little bit musky, but it is that kind of sunset beach. You know, your skin probably still got a bit of sun cream on it. It's a bit salty. It's a bit kind of carnal. You know, as the sun goes down, you might be, you know, spending a bit of time with your partner, let's say, where nobody can see, surrounded by that atmosphere, that kind of party happy feeling, the sultry redness of the sun shining on you, you know, them fruits and the flowers and that. It's just a very, very nicely done one. Again, it's not like, this is the thing, if we like this sort of DNA, we want ones that aren't all the same and all kind of generic, and this definitely stands out. That dark fruitiness in there is just magnificent. So that is from Mabelle Rama, Forbidden Bloom. Then from April Aromatics we have Coco No More. This is kind of obvious what it's about, but this is what Tanya does really well at April Aromatics. Generally as many natural ingredients as she can use, and this has a lot of coconut in it. Now, coconut is a note I can really struggle with, but this actually smells like the flesh of a coconut, literally, that creamy, also the texture of it, that kind of chewy texture of it in there, and it's got a kind of sweetness from the citruses and things, and there are flowers in it, but it is mainly about the coconut with a kind of fruity twist to it, and it smells like the beach. It smells like you're eating and drinking from a coconut, because again the texture, it's a really, really good one. It's actually got a lot to it. It's not as simplistic and basic as you'd imagine. It's got elements, it's got kind of development about it, and the sharper notes that are in it, it's the neroli or something like that, maybe. The sharper notes break up that, because a real coconut, even a real coconut, is quite creamy and intense, but the sharper notes through it break it up. And if it is neroli, for example, I'm not sure off the top of my head, then there's something like that balances it, and it makes it kind of quite magical, really. So anyway, that's me waffling on. That's Coco No More from April Aromatics. Next on the old list is one that's quite famous, really, and that's from Kayali, Utopia Coco Vanille, something like that. Car. We don't need this in the video, but if you saw the registration plates of them two cars, that car pulled out slightly so it didn't obviously run me down, and then another car overtook it, and yeah, that could have ended quite nastily. Fucking dicks. Excuse me. Anyway, Utopia. Well, it's that creamy kind of big gardenia, probably frangipani, all your typical white florals in there. That kind of give this tropical feel, a bit of sandalwood, which is probably why you get the kind of coconutty edge from. But this one has honeysuckle in it. Now we all know what honeysuckle is, this kind of sweet nectary green flowery smell. that's as well as I can do with that. And the honeysuckle really has that honeyed nectary feel. It's not honey like, it's not sticky or sweet, but that breaks it up in it, and the vanilla smoothing it all out. It is actually a magnificently beautiful fragrance, and again a little bit different. I do really enjoy this one. I really love the earlier ones from Kayali. Kind of something we were familiar with, but with a little twist, and very easygoing and nice, and it dries down a little bit musky, still with that kind of soft coconutty vanilla, and the honeysuckle still singing through it. It's lovely. So that's Kayali's Utopia Coco Vanille. Finally, from potentially my favourite indie brand ever, and one of my favourite perfumers, if not the best, is One Way Bridge's Pitching Woo. This is one I've spoken about so much. It's your gelato on a beach. It's got this kind of smooth, creamy, ice creamy feel. It's rich, but it's not ever too much. It's like just a thick creaminess that somehow isn't overly creamy or lactonic. It's got this mintiness in the beginning, like a toffee mintiness that I call a humbug. It's also got a kind of fruity, soft peachiness running through it, and I think maybe a little touch of pistachio. There's a green nuttiness which is really quite pleasant, and as this dries down it becomes like a, how would you put it, like a float, like some ice cream on some pop, and it has a bit of a fizz and verve to it, still with that ice creamy feel. It's at the same time very delicious without being gourmand. It's a perfume, and the mintiness, I've wore it now in the heat, the minty toffee humbuggy feel actually really lasts and goes through it in the heat. Again, it's never too sticky, never too sweet. It is ice creamy. It's just, it's something. I mean, the notes will never be released of it, so I could be talking gibberish here, but that's what I get from it, and that's what it smells like. It's unique, and it's a gourmand without being gourmandy. It's just the most beautiful kind of sunny weather fragrance, and like I say, that mintiness that you don't notice as much through it. It's there in the opening, but in the heat it just goes right through it. So that's Pitching Woo from One Way Bridge. That's it. Doesn't need a long kind of outro, does it? I've tried to mix up different types of fragrances there, from the fruity ones. I put a different Kilian into what I'd normally put in. It's just Also a kind of cold sea beach fragrance, and they all work, don't they? And I think we all like these mainly because of the memories as well as the actual smell of them, and they make you feel good, don't they? So what about you? What's your favourite beachy scent? Do you like these suntanny kind of tropical ones, or do you lean towards these colder weather beachy fragrances? An honourable mention, can't remember what it's called, but 4160 Tuesdays do one that I think is either Brighton Beach or Blackpool Beach. I'm hoping it's Blackpool Beach. Never sniffed it, but I imagine she's captured that perfectly with a sticky stick of rocks, the kind of the sweets, the candy floss, and the smell of the sea. Probably not the horrific smell of the sea nowadays, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Bye.